I do another film?
The floor is yours.
The floor is mine. So, 31, which is a new film by Rob Zombie. As you'll know, well, it's a weird thing with Rob Zombie, okay? So I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie, and the story of this is a group of carnival workers captured at Halloween. I think it's 1976. It's got a kind of period setting. And they become pawns in a murderous game in which they're trapped in a huge plant and they're chased by various assassins in fancy dress. And every now and then we cut back to Malcolm McDowell, a bewigged Malcolm McDowell, who is sort of orchestrating all this, this violence, whilst dressed as an extra from Amadeus. And
Really?
yeah, basically, and then sending in the clowns, because the whole thing has a kind of carnival feeling. And the people that the killers that are sent in to do the dirty work are called Doomhead and Sickhead and Psychohead and Schizohead. And apparently, according to the notes, each one of these defines the individual personality of this particular killing thing. Although I have to say they all looked exactly the same to me. So the funny thing was that when this film came up and Simon, our producer, said, look, I think we should cover this. It's a matter of record that I have not liked Rob Zombie films in the past. Actually, I think the first thing he did I thought was quite interesting, but I mean, he has done the Devil's Rejects, which I really don't like on every single possible level, an ideological level, not least of the problems. So in the case of this, I said to somebody, are you going to watch the 31? And they said, no, I've seen enough Rob Zombie films to know that I'm not crazy about Rob Zombie. And I thought, well, I'm going to give it a go anyway, because you never know. You never know. Maybe this will be the Rob Zombie film that will convince me otherwise. And I watched it and went, no, that's just rubbish. I mean, it's exactly the same as it's got this kind of sleazy, nasty throwback grindhouse edge, which appears to exist for no reason other than...
Just remind us about grindhouse, what that means.
Well, actually, there's been a big debate recently about whether how in which terms exactly the word grindhouse can be used. Like when Tarantino did Grindhouse and it was Death Proof and Planet Terror, sleazy exploitation movies, about which I actually don't have a problem. But in the case of the Rob Zombie one, what I do have a problem with is not how violent they are, but just how boring they are in their violence. There is this counting down of, we've got 12 hours, will they stay alive for 12 hours? So you've all seen this film a million times before, but the countdown became like, okay, how long have we got? I'm watching this in real time. And I kept thinking, Malcolm McDowell is one of the greatest screen presences. Every time we cut back to Malcolm McDowell, it'll be absolutely fabulous. Malcolm McDowell seemed less interested in being in the film than he was in those straight-to-video thrillers he made with Shannon Weary in the 1990s. I mean, if it literally... like, okay, you sort of turned up, somebody put a wig on, said, right, now read that line out, and thanks, fine, now we can do the next line. And there was a problem with the American censors when there was a thing about getting the rating, and they were saying, oh, well, it's very bloody, it's very violent, it's this. Well, yeah, fine, that's not the problem. The problem is boring, retrograde, uninteresting. I mean, I have as much tolerance for gore cinema as the next horror fan, but I was bored out of my brain. I just wanted it to be finished. Not like, oh, I keep telling myself a movie, I want it to be finished, but like, I just want it to be finished because I need to do the washing up and I can't sit here much longer.